Hello and welcome to my NXT review, the final NXT as of this week, where you have to switch from TV to the WWE Network in the second hour, because after this week they will be live for 2 hours straight on the USA Network. So no more having to switch from my TV to my PS4 to switch to the show. I was very unprepared last week with it. Like I said, there was a lot of things going on. My dad's birthday, going out to dinner, so I kind of watched the show on the network on my phone, but due to the high traffic volume of so many people trying to get to the network, there was a lot of problems that I just watched on some website live on my cell phone. But I was more prepared this week, as into switching of the second hour of the show before the first hour ended. But we kicked it off hot right off the start with Keith Lee versus Donivan Dijakovic. I believe this is their third encounter, if I'm not mistaken, going against each other. And man, this was a hell of a match. Okay, this is one, like, both of these guys, just two super heavyweights, just doing these crazy moves out there going against each other. Because, like, come on, man, Keith Lee's trying to do a spinning heel kick. That looked insane. Okay, pretty much both guys going in at each other, especially when they got to the apron part before the first commercial break, with Donivan Dijakovic hitting a choke slam on, and I know I'm calling him, I know it was Divojack or Divojack or Dijakovic. I just say Donivan Dijakovic. It's easier to say, okay? And you know, I can make a Kenny Omega joke right here about what did Kenny call him? Donovan Dickhead. That's what he called Dijakovic there, and I was kind of thinking that too for a second, especially going against Keith Lee. Or what do you call them, the undercard? So I don't know, we call a lot of these NXT guys under, but that's not the point right now. Continuing with this match, it is kind of a funny story, but this was crazy in this match, because when they pretty much went to the ring apron, like I said before, they did the choke slam and everything. Lee pretty much got him back into the ring with a choke slam. There was one big botch in this match when he tried to do a suplex into the ring. Well, he suplexed him while he was trying to suplex him in the ring, but it was like Keith Lee couldn't deadlift him all the way up there, and it kind of fell over. When it kind of got to the outside the ring, Dijak was out. Keith Lee does a freaking corkscrew, a corkscrew plancha, and that, first off, a man his size just doing a freaking corkscrew out of the ring like nothing just looked crazy, okay? It looked freaking crazy out there, I will say that. But I think they had like 2 commercial breaks in this too. But both guys started striking back at each other. Lee pretty much had Dijak on the ground. This dude does a freaking moonsault from the second, like the second corner. The second turnbuckle, okay? He did on the second turnbuckle. Not the top turnbuckle, but the second one. And it looked freaking crazy, okay? Just moonsault out there. Dijak kicked out at 2, though. Pretty much then Lee was going to go that Spanish fly for the top rope, but Dijak pretty much countered it. Hit him with probably just an insane Canadian Destroyer. I saw everybody in NXT just does Canadian Destroyers now. It doesn't no-sell them sometimes, but Jesus, man, this dude did a freaking Canadian Destroyer off the top rope. I thought it was over. I really almost thought this match was going to be over. And it just looked that crazy. A Canadian Destroyer from the top rope on Keith Lee. But pretty much Dijak, since he kicked out, Dijak went back to the top rope. He went for a, I think it was the moonsault, I believe. But yeah, he went for that. And pretty much Lee kicked out at 1, and he pretty much looked at Dijak with a death stare. He rose up, pretty much deadlifted him back up, and picked him up into a was not like a jackhammer, but he pretty much went for like a power slam, or some people call it the limit break, and he won the match. Listen, I'm just glad Keith Lee finally won a freaking match, because I even sat there looking at this. I swear to God, if Keith Lee loses another freaking match on this show, I just swear, I'm just glad he won, okay? Because we've seen what Dijak go over him already. I know there's been some screwy things in their matches before. Listen, what I call this almost a takeover level match. A little in some ways, yes, and this match was only 9 minutes, but this was a hot start to kick off the show. I will say that, but just 2 super heavyweights in a way, just hitting freaking Canadian destroyers and corkscrews out the ring, and second rope moonsaults off the turnbuckle. It looks crazy. Okay, so I was just glad Keith Lee finally won a freaking match, because this guy puts on some great matches, but it's like they keep having him lose half the time, and I always had a problem with that. So I am just glad he went over tonight. They were hyping matches for next week. You know, one thing, and I didn't mention this at the beginning of the show when they played the video package for NXT, was when they did start off the show, the commentary table is in a different, I don't know what part of the, NXT, wherever Full Sail is at. I don't know what part they were, but they changed that up, and they had a podium that's above the, it's above the commentary table, and you kicked it off with the Undisputed Era holding up all the gold at the beginning. I thought that was a cool touch right there with the podium and stuff. So it did look good, I will say that. They had Street Profits pretty much talked about next week. They will face the Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team title. So it's going to be a lot of title matches next week, and I'm going to get into that later on. Next, Dakota Kai making her return to NXT. Dakota Kai has been gone for a while. I don't remember. I think it was her knee. She tore her ACL, if I'm not mistaken, and she was gone for a while. So Dakota Kai was making her big return. Fans chanting "Welcome back." She went against Tainara Conti. Pretty much right off the bat, Kai gave her a big bicycle kick, taking her down. She went for the top rope, but Tainara pretty much gave her a kick, to the head up top, and then kicking her on the ground. She pretty much started judo tossing Dakota in for a second, but Dakota pretty much got out of a sleeper hold. Pretty much hit with another bicycle kick, gave her an axe kick, and then a GTK, not a GTS. It's pretty much a GTS, but she's just kicking. Well, she don't like she kicked her in the arm. Did it really look that powerful? Not really. It still looked good. But yeah, the GTK, I'm sorry, GTK, I'm trying to get it right though, yeah. The GTK, it did look alright. I'm just used to saying GTS, I guess, yeah, you forget it's a GTK now. But a good return match for Dakota Kai. Pretty much then, right after that, as we still in the first hour of NXT, they had announced the 6-man tag later on with Imperium, Wolf, Barthel, and Eichner versus Kushida and 2 mystery partners he's going to get. So that's going to happen. What was next after this, though? Next, was the continuation of the street fight, as some would say right here. The street fight between Matt Riddle and Killian Dain. The winner of this street fight will get a title shot against Adam Cole next week on NXT. Pretty much, this was a great street fight match, since it was a continuation of it. This was, honestly, it was really fun if you asked me. But, man, you gotta say, these guys were beating the crap out of each other. They did fight around the arena, but it didn't go like, the ending last week where everybody just started beating the crap out of each other and stuff. But, pretty much Riddle, which I thought that to him with these deadlifts, this dude pretty much hit him with a freaking Alabama slam, Killian Dain. So the strength of Riddle is just insane. Him trying to go for his final flash knee on Dain, but he was still standing. He was going to go for a moonsault, but it did not work. Riddle pretty much hit Dain with a senton, then a penalty kick or PK. Dain still kicked out at 2. Riddle, he hit him with, what did he hit him with? Like that low brow, I think it's called. No, he didn't do the low brow no, he did the low brow, or the low bro, or it's a freaking corkscrew moonsault in the air, okay? After he did the Alabama slam, that looked crazy, alright? Pretty much Dain was pretty much knocked Riddle outside then, going for the big suicide dive and stuff, which they pretty much got on the outside of the ring then. And I kind of knew this part was coming because they pretty much brawled a little bit near the production. They started giving each other punches. Riddle putting Dain in the chair and doing multiple roundhouse kicks on him then after that. But Dain pretty much got up and yelled at him and says, "Listen, you call yourself a UFC fighter, it's not going to work." Riddle pretty much knocked Dain back a little, and Dain gave him a big crossbody through a wooden wall, which in a way I kind of saw that coming. If you just look at that wall, it looked weak anyway, so you knew he was going to crash on right through him, so I saw that coming. But pretty much after they came back from the commercial, they fought in the bleachers then. Riddle pretty much did a senton on Dain through a wooden table. They fought back to the ring then. Pretty much, once again, he did another senton. He pretty much tried to get a chair, but he wasn't going. Well, he got a chair, and Dain came back with a crossbody then after that. He pretty much did like 3 sit-downs on from the top rope, or was it something? It was a Vader bomb, I believe. Riddle pretty much then kicked out. Then after that, pretty much then right after, because we got a little bit closer to the, a little bit near the top of the hour, so it looks like they have to end this match soon enough anyways, but Riddle hit him, pretty much did a final flash. I almost thought it was going to be a bandaminator, but he threw the chair at Killian Dain, hit him with the final flash knee, big kick out then right after that, and then he put the chair on top of Dain and hit him with the Kindle stick about 2 times, then beating him with it. Pretty much multiple strikes then, but Riddle pretty much caught Killian Dain with the Fujiwara armbar and pretty much hyperextended his arm, pulling it more and more to make him tap out. So now he will face Adam Cole next week for the NXT Championship. Pretty much Adam Cole walked to the ring, looked at Riddle, held the title, says, "You are not in my league, Riddle." Next thing you know, Riddle pretty much put him in the armbar. Then Cole started tapping out. The rest of the Undisputed Era pretty much tried to come out for the save, but Riddle got out of there then. And then next thing you know, that's where we leave the USA Network and go on back to the WWE Network now to continue this show. So a lot of title matches are being set up next week, and also they said limited commercials. I'm gonna go a little bit more about that then, because I got a lot to say about all these title matches next week, okay? But as for the street fight itself between Killian Dain and Matt Riddle, I thought it was a great street fight though. At least it was more better than just the chaoticness of last week, because last week everybody was just brawling in and out, which I didn't know where this was going, okay? But as we came into the second hour of the show, Rhea Ripley went against, formerly now known as Lacey Lane. They're calling her Kaden Carter now. Listen, I don't understand half these WWE names they give them, okay? I said about half people when they did that breakout tournament. I'm going to get to that too, but I guess they're calling Lacey Lane Kaden Carter now. I guess it's okay. I don't know why they need the name change, to be honest. But and that's WWE for you with these name changes half the time. But this is pretty much a squash match, really. Ripley, they just having her look like a beast as usual. I thought Carter did good out there too. So she tried to go for the Hurricane Rana and everything. But she had a good near fall with the pretty much the body scissors then after that, but Ripley pretty much kind of got back in control and did the Riptide Slam after that. So pretty much a squash for Rhea Ripley. Like I said before, bring more of the UK talent into the regular NXT. Honestly, they need more bodies on NXT, especially to hold up on the USA Network. I don't know. I keep hearing rumors about the 205 people, but I don't know how sure that's going to be. If you had a person, I would have just said dissolve the freaking show, but they got to still make this work somehow with 205, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah, pretty much a squash by Rhea Ripley. Not bad. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch went against Ever Rise, Chase Parker, and Matt Martell. A good match, I will say that. I'd never heard of Ever Rise before, but it was a new team, and they did pretty good out there. Of course, they made Lorcan and Burch looked powerful, and pretty much I thought it was funny when they started doing the power up thing after that. After I think it was Burch hit him with a big missile drop kick from the top rope, and was it top rope, I believe? Yeah, missile drop kick, and they pretty much powered up and did that. What is Lorcan and Burch's finisher? Not a magic killer, but they hit him with a DDT and stuff to take down Martell for the win. So a good win for Lorcan and Burch, though, which was pretty good. They showed Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. Pretty much they're going to be debuting soon on NXT, if you know who they are. So they did show them on pretty much at the side of the ring. Next match, Trevor Lee. I'm sorry, Cameron Grimes. They're calling. Yeah, I'm so used to calling him Trevor Lee. I really am. I don't get used to have these new names so after a while. But we're going by Cameron Grimes now. For some reason, him in that hat makes him look like a leprechaun. I don't know why. It just does. But I don't know. I'm still calling the guy Trevor Lee. He went against Raul Mendoza. I thought this was a great match. I enjoyed this match. This was fun to watch. Because right after the bat, pretty much Mendoza knew when to dodge Trevor Lee after he did that double stomp thing, pretty much, killing Maluda out there last week. But this was fun. Mendoza is great, okay? This guy did a freaking, like a slingshot headlock all the way to the ground. Like, dude just does a freaking springboard, grabs Lee, and takes him down with a headlock, which looked very smooth, by the way, okay? So that was very fun to watch. Wow, it's a lot of spots I'm trying to remember throughout most of this match. But Mendoza went for a crucifix roll up, but Lee came back with a Superman punch. Lee tried to roll him up again, but it did not work. Mendoza got out of there, tried to go for an arm bar, pretty much switched to chin bar in. I'm trying to name at least most of the moves what I saw from this, but Mendoza pretty much went for like a roundhouse on him, and then did like it kind of walked on the ropes, then the top ropes for a missile dropkick, tight roping the thing and taking him down. Pretty much hit him with a big roundhouse kick then, which looked pretty cool. He hit him with a Frankensteiner also for a near fall. But Grimes, Lee, whatever you want to call him, pretty much took Mendoza down, pretty much tried to roll him up, and then hit him with a double stomp thing for the win. So another win for, like I said, Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes, whatever you want to call his name. Pretty much another good win for him. So at least they are building him up. I don't know when they're going to have him talk on the microphone, but, hopefully his NXT run goes better than what he did in Impact, which it wasn't bad. It's just they kind of lost track of what they did with him in Impact. He was kind of a job guy over there, but until the end. But pretty much right after Mendoza and him, they put on a very good match that was very enjoyable, and it was good out there. I liked it. I really did. So both of these guys, hopefully we're going to see something more from them in the future. But as we got to the main event of the show, Kushida came out first, which I thought that was kind of odd, especially Imperium came out right after him. But then they brought out his mystery tag partners. The first thing I heard from that siren, I was like, Scott Steiner? I'm like, no, that can't be Scott Steiner. And then next it was Breezango or the Fashion Police or whatever you want to call them. This was a good six-man tag, I will say that. Imperium especially coming back in several times, just doing all these quick tags to take down Kushida or Tyler Breeze at one point. Tyler Breeze at one point until Breeze had, one kind of got the tag. Then, man, Fandango was going in out there. Let me say that, too. Fandango was just going in, knocking all of Imperium down. Dude hit it with a freaking big, dive to the outside of the ring. That looked pretty cool, too. Hit it with a Falcon Arrow then. I ignored the Falcon Arrow after that, which was pretty cool too. Top Con Hilo. I always get the dives wrong when it comes to people jumping out of the ring. But yeah, Top Con Hilo. I don't know why I forget that half the time. But pretty much Fandango pretty much took them all down. Kushida was back in the ring with Bartel, was pretty much the legal man after that. Pretty much hitting Bartel with a cross arm breaker, but Imperium broke it up. Pretty much everybody started brawling in the ring. Kushida pretty much hit it with his right hand as he usually does. I never know what that move is called when he did in New Japan, but a big right hand. Bartel pretty much tried to hit him with an uppercut when Kushida did a corkscrew, but Kushida pretty much hit him with a jackknife roll-up for the win. Pretty much he rolled out of the ring as Imperium tried to attack him, and as Kushida celebrated right up on the ramp, Walter comes in with a big kick on Kushida as Imperium stood on the stage and pretty much ended the show, which the show did end by about 10-11 minutes early, by the way, before the 9 o'clock hour, so it ended at least about 8:49, I should say. So it was a good six-man tag, though. I will say that they still building up Walter and Kushida, I see. But some people say should Imperium be losing right now since they just kind of got here. It doesn't, I wouldn't say hurt them that much, but it's Kushida and it's Kushida versus Walter right now. And it was good to see Breezango out of the match too. I said Fandango was looking great out there. I will say that, man. Fandango was going in, but overall tonight, another great episode of NXT. Is some would say maybe the best out of the entire week if you want to go from that. But from the Keith Lee and Dijak match was just freaking awesome. That was probably one of the best matches of the night. Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee, whatever, versus Raw Mendoza was a really good match too. We got to see the return of Dakota Kai. The street fight with Matt Riddle and Killian Dain was great also. So another solid night and a very loaded show for next week too, for October the 2nd, as they call it, a championship night with limited commercial breaks. So next week you're going to see Candice LeRae versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. Street Profits versus Undisputed Era, Red Dragon or whatever, for the tag team titles. And Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle for the NXT Championship. Very loaded show next week. What I call it could be almost takeover level if you want to go on that point. But I gotta say, NXT is really stacking the deck up next week, especially next week now. This was the end of this whole switching from the USA Network to the WWE Network. So they will be on USA live 2 hours in a row next week, people. Limited commercial breaks, because it's going to be a lot of wrestling next week. A lot of things are going to be happening next week. Like I said before, man, shows are going to be loaded throughout the entire week, people, okay? It's going to be loaded. I'm telling you that right now. Because you got Raw Monday. We're not there with Impact yet until a few more weeks in October, but they will be on Tuesday nights, which they're already going to be starting already soon. So to get people familiar, I'm not going to go into that right now. I'll probably explain that in my Impact review later on in the week, especially what they're going to be playing on Access TV until they debut. I don't know if it's live, but they're going to be debuting after Bound for Glory on Access TV. We'll get into that, like I said, later in the Impact review. But you got that. Next week will be, and I'm saying it right now, the war is upon us. You can say if it's not a war or not, but the Wednesday Night War is now upon us for next week. AEW will be debuting on TV against NXT. But I'm going to say this right now, man. AEW gonna have to bring something really top heavy next week. I know they got a good card coming up right now, especially this is their first live show. This is their debut show pretty much on TNT next week, AEW Dynamite. But NXT, they got the deck stacked for next week. They are ready, so this war is going to begin. Now, which show am I going to watch first next week? I am going to watch AEW first because it is the debut show. But looking at the card I'm seeing next week for NXT, and everything with this whole championship night, they are making this tough. I will tell you right now, they are making this decision very tough to watch. But yes, the Wednesday Night War is upon us between AEW and NXT, so that is going to happen. And you have SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown will be happening next week too, on Fox. So it's going to be a very loaded week of wrestling next week, or mostly in the coming months, like I've told you before. So a lot is going to be going on, but another great episode for NXT tonight. I just think now next week it's going to be really big for them. And like I said, the war will begin with AEW and NXT. Who's going to walk out of this with the win? I don't know, but right now, looking at it on paper, kind of leaning towards NXT, people. I'm still going to watch both shows regardless, but NXT may be picking up the W right here next week, okay? But like I said before, I will start off with AEW first, and then I will go to NXT right after. So hopefully I avoid the internet for spoilers, which I'm probably going to have to stay off Twitter throughout both of these shows, mostly, especially due to, pretty much in general, because they're going to be coming on at the same freaking time, okay? They're going to be coming on at the same time, so watch out for that. But other than that, man, like I said, it's going to be a loaded week next week, so watch out. So, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought about NXT tonight. Tell me what you thought about all the matches, anything from that. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. So, like I said, though, man, it's going to be a crazy week next week, so watch out, people. So, I'm going to go. I'm out of here. I will see you guys later, and peace out.